Hi, welcome. We are in February. Oh, that pen's new. We are in February 2021, and we're doing notes 8.6 today, so you should be open up to page 59. We're going to be talking about angle of elevation and angle of depression today. So every problem is a word problem. We're going to need to draw a triangle. I'm going to pause my screen and just draw some really nice triangles real quick and then come back. So you can draw your triangles to begin with if you want and come back in a minute. They're definitely not all the same and they're not drawn to scale. They're just sketches. So that's where we're going to start. Reading this, Casey sights the top of an 84-foot tall lighthouse at the angle of elevation of 58 degrees. If Casey is 6 feet tall, so that's why I drew this one up here. Like this is Casey. He's 6 feet tall. So if he's 6 feet tall and at an angle of elevation of 84 degrees, if Casey's 6 feet tall, how far is he standing from the base of the lighthouse? The lighthouse is 84 feet. So if this is the lighthouse, and it's 84 feet, I'm going to need to figure out this length here. So again, this is obviously not drawn to scale. So just keep that in mind. Because if that's 6 and that's 84, definitely not good. So if the whole thing's 84, subtract 6, this piece up here is now going to be 78. So if I know that this here is 78, I want to know how far he's standing away from the lighthouse, which is at the hypotenuse or to the bottom. How far away is going to be this length right here. So this is the information we have. We know. Ask yourself, what trig function am I going to use? Am I going to use sine, cosine, tangent? Hopefully we have these memorized. Off to the side, I would either write SOHCAHTOA, or I'm going to write Oscar had a hunk of apples, sweet caramel topping. I'm going to look at the two numbers I have. I have the opposite number and I have the adjacent. I'm going to use tangent here. So tangent of 84 degrees. Is it 84? No, the height is 84. That was wrong. That's 58. Hopefully somebody else caught that as we were doing this. Okay, the degree is 58. So tangent of 58 degrees is equal to opposite 78 over adjacent, which is x. So again, we're going to multiply both. X is on the denominator. If you remember, they're just going to swap. So if you remember this, you can just swap it. The work is going to be multiply both sides by x, divide both sides by tangent of 58. That ends up giving me x is equal to 78 divided by tangent of 58. That's a perfectly acceptable answer. If you want to plug it in your calculator, you should get approximately 48.7 feet. If you need help with the calculator, let me know. I have scientific, and you can use your phone as well. So 78 divided by tangent of 58, I get 48.7. There we go. Okay, so the next one, angle of elevation from a kicker's foot on the football field to the top of the goalpost bars is 17 degrees. If he is standing 131 feet from the base of the goal, how tall is the goal? Again, we have opposite adjacent. Tangent of 17 equals opposite x over adjacent 131. This time the x is on the top, which makes it nice because I'm just going to multiply both sides by 131. So x is equal to 131 times tangent of 17. Go ahead, plug that in our calculator. We should get, let's see, 40.05, so that would be 40.1 feet. if we're going to approximate. Okay, go ahead, pause. Do the next two on your own. Come back and check. Lee's mom is standing at the bottom of the slide of the playground waiting for Lee to slide down. If the angle of elevation from the bottom of the slide to the top is 46 degrees, then the slide has a vertical height, horizontal vertical height of 9, find the length of the slide. So now not the distance down here, I want the length of the slide that she's coming down. So this time I have opposite and I have hypotenuse. Opposite hypotenuse is going to be sine. So we're going to set this up sine of 46 equals 9 over x. Remember, you can do the work in the just like this one up here, or you can memorize that x and sine of 46 is just going to swap. When I plug that into the calculator, I should get approximately 12.5. And what are the units? Feet. Okay, last one here. A dog is standing 5 feet from the base of a tree. So 5 feet from the base. Where is that going to go? From the base, here's my 5 feet. Looking up at a cat that has climbed 16 feet up the tree. So the tree is 16 feet up right here. So make sure you label everything correctly. What is the angle of elevation? Now, this time I'm looking for the angle. So when I'm looking for the angle, what function do I have? What do I have to do? So keep that in mind, see if you can set this up. So again, this one was opposite adjacent, it's tangent. Tangent of, I don't know that we've used theta before. Actually, now that I'm talking about it here, theta is just a variable that you can use to represent an angle. It's a variable that's used frequently with trig. It's just like using an x. So if you wanted to put an x there, that's perfectly fine. It's kind of like a circle with a squiggle. Tangent of theta is equal to opposite over adjacent. When we're looking for the angle, this is when we're going to say that theta is equal to the inverse tangent of 16 over 5. Remember, inverse tangent is second. It's the one with the, oh, you can't see that, with the -1, kind of like an exponent. And it was 16 over 5. We get about 72.6 degrees. Okay, we're going to do really, really similar problems now, except now it's going to be an angle of depression. So go on to the next page and draw your triangles first. Here I drew my triangles, and I drew the line up here, kind of like that angle, that's the line that's parallel to the top. That's where the angle of depression is going to occur. So I drew the line in all of my triangles to begin with. So coming to the first one here, a lifeguard is sitting on a platform like this picture up here, looking down at a swimmer in the water. So here's a swimmer out here in the water. Here's the lifeguard sitting up here. And if the lifeguard line of sight is 8 feet above the ground, so right here, where his eyes are is 8 feet above the ground. The angle of depression to the swimmer is 18 degrees. Now, if we remember when we had parallel lines cut by a transversal, if this angle up here is 18, what other angle is going to be 18? We have alternate interior angles right here, so this angle here is also going to be 18 degrees. So, if you had read the angle of depression up here, it says alternate interior angles. So that's the key to this problem. So right here, I want to see how far away the swimmer is from the lifeguard. The lifeguard's on his side, so he can go to the ground. How far away? I actually would think that how far away would be this length here. I'm not sure what they meant on this one, so we're going to go ahead and work this one out. This is going to be opposite over hypotenuse. And again, I would write my trig over here. Oscar had a hunk of apples, sweet caramel topping. Opposite hypotenuse is going to be sine. I'm going to do sine of 18 is equal to 8 over x. Anytime the x is in the bottom, remember they will just swap. X is equal to 8 divided by sine of 18. So, if that is the case, 8 divided by sine of 18, we get approximately 25.9 feet away. Diagonally, like the hypotenuse there. So there we go. I'm going to go ahead and set up the next one. Go ahead and pause. Set up the next 3. Come back and check. Pilot in a helicopter spots a landing pad below. If the angle of depression is 73 degrees, which means this is also 73 degrees, and the horizontal distance to the pad, from here to the pad, is 1,200 feet. What is the altitude? So altitude we have to know here. Altitude is another word for height. So the altitude of the helicopters that we're looking for, this is going to be opposite over adjacent, my tangent. Tangent of 73 equals opposite x over adjacent 1,200. Multiply both sides by 1,200, we end up with x equals 1,200 times tangent of 73. Plugging that in our calculator, we should get, let's see, 1,200 tangent 73, about 3,925 feet. Okay, so I'm going to pause and I'm going to work these out so I can just show them to you. Pause, work them out, set them up first, then come back and check the answers. Pause. 7 was a little bit tricky once I started looking at it. I erased my triangle. I drew 2 buildings, a 480 and a 654. Well, 480, how much taller than the 480 is it? It's 174 more feet. So this distance up here is 174. If the angle of depression from here to here is 42, and I want to know how far apart the buildings are, I'm using 42, x, and 174. Opposite adjacent is going to be tangent of 42. I ended up with 193.2. Down here, this one was pretty nice. Opposite adjacent tangent, I ended up with 141.1. Anyway, that is it for the angle of elevation and depression. Good luck. Have a fabulous week. I think we only have 2 notes this week, so that's really good. And I will see you next time. Have a fabulous day.